Hello? Hello?
Pat,
Yeah.
it's me.
Yeah. What I've realized from these calls, especially as of late, is we talk about making this shorter. I don't even, with these bigger companies, I'm not even sure I should show them a dashboard, maybe 10 seconds. But just realizing let me first cover Basecamp Alpha. I mean, he basically interrupted me after he saw the mobile and said, here's our biggest problem, this heat map scenario. And then he talked about it for me for over 5 minutes. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. I was hoping I could show him more stuff, and he didn't give a fuck about anything else. He told me at the end, look, if you can solve that problem, I think we could close him if we showed him that problem immediately. But other than his, I just like that more than him seeing stuff and he's not concerned about anything except for that one problem he has,
Yeah.
And he made it real clear. He's like, look, we're one data source, people. Adobe's our people. We've been using them for years. We use them for everything, So anything you do is going to have to integrate with Site Catalyst. So,
Gotcha.
yeah, but I mean, it went as good as, he laughed about, I laughed and said, yeah, that's basically our deal. I know, they're 200 Alexa. We wouldn't have a chance of being able to serve them without 6 months anyway, but,
Yeah.
So, BL, what's her deal, out of curiosity?
I sent her an email. I haven't received a response yet.
All right, so she could be out. That's all I was wondering. So as far as you know, she was supposed to be here today, right?
Yeah.
All right. So
I double and triple checked the,
all right, fuck it then. I assume she's out then, so. They did ask me what are we going to be doing, next week, and I said we're going to be doing a lot of doc work with all this stuff. So, I mean, in their case, her and Brandon both, for you never know, so.
Yeah, for sure.
Because she wanted to do more press release-oriented stuff, but I'm more concerned about what we need than, we don't have time to play the, oh, let's have fun for you guys game,
Yeah.
Can you hear all the shit in the background?
It's probably me. Can you hear it now?
No. You hear everything happening in the office or no?
No.
Okay. Whoa, yeah, this Nirmala Beal reached out to us saying, James, could you arrange a conference call? Clean. Oh, no, I mean, that's after our email, obviously, but still.
Clean.
Okay, we have no information about her or anything. That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like this was input on
Was the meeting after you had the list of companies? Yep. Okay, all right.
Yeah, because look, on Monday
I got it, yeah,
was when I had him do it, and then we were scheduling it on Monday.
No, I got that, yeah. I was just saying how it's America CRM. Global CRM professional. Okay, so where's live here? Nice little details to know 10 seconds before meeting the top 10 largest.
I think Kim just said right.
It says PST for both times in Basecamp.
Yep.
It says 12 p.m. PST, 3 p.m. PST.
I haven't looked that close. I'm not sure. If that's Tori, yep. Call her. Are you supposed to call him or him call me? Take my cell phone. Where is she? But here, just in case he's going to call me, he has my cell.
Yeah, that is Tori's not in the office right now.
Lindsay needed her to take her somewhere.
She's getting freaking I don't know, Moody. I don't know if she has issues at home or something, but she's
Yeah,
getting.
she actually just got her boyfriend did stuff. She broke up with him recently. She's been very fiery.
Because
So.
I had to like take a couple of breaths because it's like she sent me a comment like I just asked her a question and she kind of like blew up at me.
That's just.
Like, I got you.
Yeah, no, she just broke up with her boyfriend and he did something terrible. So.
Amazing. But like, yeah, I was gonna talk with you and Justin about later.
Which I was making sure. Yeah, if they're Nirmala. But.
Yep. Gotcha.
And I think it's, I mean, all this shit, when she, whatever, I mean, it's all these, we just have to move forward. She's not going to quit. She's fine. She's not disgruntled.
I got you.
We just get into arguments about stuff that don't need to be over-organized, basically. Tell her we don't have time to do this for 100 hours in this case, so you got to use common sense, whatever. Inad, are you there?
Yeah.
So what I learned from this last call, you got off, it was my mistake to veer away from, what he said at all. He gave, at the end, he even told me very clearly, I don't want any documents except for addressing the issue I brought up.
Right.
So it's probably my fault. If once I get their attention and they want to converse, we should just stick on that point and then summarize in 30 seconds the rest.
This is what I thought. Whenever they bring something, this is why we always say pre-meeting, if they bring anything up. So initially at the meeting, if they have a pain point, this is it. Focus on it and that's it, because obviously that guy had lots of products that he's using and they're not going to just ditch them all, and this is, like you said, a huge company. So whenever you found out they had a weakness somewhere, it's like the Achilles heel. This is all what you concentrate on, and once you get it, you get it. So what's the follow-up?
But in his case, I ran through competitive intelligence. He also said this is very interesting.
No, I know.
But I'm not the right person for this. So okay. I'm going to put...
But that's okay, yeah.
So, Yanni...
At least he opened... When I left, he was asking you, whom else did you talk to in Target? Hopefully that he will send you to some other people.
Hey, these people are so big. It's almost like once they get to this size level, it's a big joke saying, same as the IBM, oh, we have millions of people. Who else have you spoke to, So it's like them even just, bluntly being like, no one here makes a decision, all you do is just plant seeds. So. Right. Yeah, I just chatted with Justin for a minute after and said we can't avoid these. We have to integrate with all these other large companies. We can't think of ourselves as a competitor. We have to address them because the situation is going to come up 1,000 times. So.
Right.
I mean, he said we're an Adobe company. They're probably spending $20 million a year if Adobe's using 10 products. At least. No, they're 200 Alexa, way more than that. But yeah, the point is, so he said we're a one data source company. And I don't know if you were on the phone. I laughed and said, yes, that makes sense. Our goal would be a year from now, you'd want to upgrade to a more superior data source.
No, I know. I heard.
He laughed and said, oh, haha, So this is how this is how I'm going to address this with, she's all CRM related. So I'm going to be broadening up the pitch a bit and say, not analytics, to say information from customer action. So.
Sure. Okay, good. And again, whenever they tell you, if they don't tell you any pain point or anything, it's different. But when they tell you, and when they don't tell you, if there is any way to learn, for us to see while we are presenting everything, try to dig in to see if this important, this pain point for you or not.
I don't think you want to be honest. I think with them, I mean, he didn't understand what his pain point would be until he saw what we did. Then he said, oh, this might be able to solve.
But then he told you, yeah, because it opens up, because things that he might be thinking about but cannot express because he didn't have anything,
about what we do.
But that's okay.
So.
Yeah, not only what we do, what the others do, because he assumes he has all these things and this is what's possible. Fine, it's like having a cancer in the pancreas and say, well, there's no treatment. You don't think any. But if someone gives you hope and he sees that someone in Mexico, is doing something crazy, maybe nothing, scientific, maybe charlatan, it doesn't matter. So people drive basically to benefit from that thing. So this is the mentality we should keep in mind.
Yeah, and he also he also, what did he say? The big thing is when I just, for DCI, I said, let me just explain our big difference is Google has 30 million, all these companies, we have this. And then, I brought it, and the truth is, in their case, they use Nielsen as well. And I mean, Nielsen's doing a billion times more things, So the point is that it doesn't make sense that they wouldn't want to supplement all that with another tool with a different focus. So.
No, I know. Obviously, they are spending a lot. They have money, and and this is very competitive. This is a big market in the United States and abroad. Target is one of the main online. But anyway, okay. Hopefully, the next guy will show up here.
It's Nirmala. Yeah, she reached out to us, I think, a while after he set up the meeting, so I'm assuming she will.
Okay, hopefully.
Anna, I think these larger ones usually make their meetings more as well. One of your guys is making noises on the end.
Just a second.
Well, yeah, Nate's already self-muted, so that means it would be you. I'm just gonna let you know if she gets on. I still hear. I'm gonna mute you. I know, just so you know.
No, I will. I will mute myself. Don't mute me.
Okay, I won't.
Okay.
Hello?
Hi, Nirmala. Hello?
Yes, this is Nirmala. Yes.
Hi, Nirmala. This is Patrick with oopgo. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good.
I am trying to download GoToMeeting, but it's not working.
Okay. Did you click? It should prompt. Usually, it's a link, and it prompts and says, "Are you okay with sharing the?" Did you click yes to a prompt that it initiated, or where are you at with that?
I'm gonna reload it again and see if it works.
Okay. Do you not usually use GoToMeeting? Do you usually use a conferencing setup as opposed to screen sharing? Is that your guys' protocol, or?
We usually use we have our own internal meeting setup.
Okay. Where are you joining us from, Nirmala?
Toronto.
Toronto. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you been in Canada for a while, or just that's something that's been recent?
I've always been in Canada.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just giving you a second. Not try to overtalk. All right, it looks like you're in now, so it should be a few more seconds. Please, Nirmala, if you could confirm once you can see my screen, you're just going to see Dell.com open.
I can.
You can?
Okay. Yes.
Okay, great. So first off, I wanted to know, Nirmala, if you could outline what you do within. I mean, we looked through resume and information we already had, but I guess what your role is within your website initiatives on the CRM end.
Okay. So I would say I'm part of our media testing and innovation team. And our focus is to really look at new kind of testing and innovation initiatives and vendors that are out there to see how they might work for Dell. What I'm really focused on is identifying vendors who can kind of take us to the next realm of marketing.
Okay, so the focus is all on when you say marketing in a broad sense. Are you on a top level where you're looking at marketing as a whole, or a specific instance or scenario?
Marketing as a whole.
Okay.
So more so from a media perspective.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, on that end, to introduce ourselves, I'll let you know what we're going to be showing here is just a 10 to 15 minute capabilities overview, all related to, as you said, marketing related, and just kind of showing you a few tools that may be of relevance. And at that point, we just have a hard stop and discuss any potential added value or any questions you have on your end. So.
Okay, great.
No problem. Okay. So oopgo, we're a digital marketing intelligence company, and we essentially have two integrated technologies. One of them is a customer analysis tool. The other one is competitive intelligence, basically a large search engine that companies can customize to get marketing data. So I'm going to be showing them individually, each for a few minutes, and to jump right into our analytics end. What differentiates our company is if you add a script onto your website, and traditional analytics or CRM or any kind of tracking mechanisms, you'll create a different record when someone goes from page to page on your website. So if I'm on Dell, then I go to one of your individual links, you're going to have a record knowing that this person went here at this time, etc. We go a bit deeper there, and we're storing 1,000 times as much information as a traditional analytic or CRM storage. And we have the ability to, if someone pauses for 3 seconds in front of an ad on your site, we're storing every pause point. We're storing the fact that you can search and say how many people paused for 3 seconds on my ad. This comes down to mouse movement as well as keystroke entry. If I write, my name is Bob on your search bar, I delete it, and I write Mary, we're able to get the typing speed from that individual entry, and you're able to go back and say how many people are saying Bob, how many people are saying writing Mary, and of course correlating that to traditional conversion inhibitors or anything on the marketing end. Did that make sense on the top level, Nirmala?
Sorry, I was on mute. It does. Do you have a deck that kind of outlines this?
Yeah, we do. I'll spend, in that case, I'll cut to the point and show you a couple, but yeah, we can absolutely outline this through a deck as well. It's just a couple links are a lot easier to show across the screen before we usually send a follow-up. So.
Yeah, I was just asking because it kind of gives me a setup as to what you are, what you do, what's your value proposition out there, what makes you different to the other players out there, if you see where I'm coming from. So it gives me that setup and context.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I tried to oversimplify here. I'll give it a few minutes, and yeah, if you want to address any questions from there, or we decide to cut off early, that shouldn't be an issue. So our differentiator here is all these micro actions on your site. So form entry, even before I click submit, we're storing all of these as an individual record that's searchable on your end to supplement any current intelligence. So that's the big difference here, like as we mentioned, is every time someone's on your site for a few seconds, we have 1,000 different points of data, which give a much deeper microscope into what's happening from your customer's perspective. The other end of that coin is because we're storing all this information, we're also able to replay all of your customer visits in the exact way that they occurred, regardless of browser, regardless of device. So basically any data you currently have stored, whether it's on a CRM or an analytics platform, you could click play on any point of data and watch exactly what the customer saw. So
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead, Nirmala.
So in terms of what you're demonstrating here, when you say you tap into the different data, do you need as a standard requirement to tap into the data that we have as a company?
Absolutely not. No, that's an internal decision. We have this as a standalone solution by default, but if you have the need to integrate directly, we can set that up as well. So
how does your standalone solution work? Just so I understand first, and then
no problem. It's a web. Are you familiar with how Google Analytics work? I suppose any page-specific JavaScript tagging. You add a small piece of code on your website. As soon as you add that piece of code on your website, we're creating all of this data and our own personal database source. This is a website application, so then you would go to our website and log in to access the data that's created for what's happening on your website. Is that clear? Do you want to go a bit, were you asking for something a bit deeper technically, Nirmala?
No, that's cool.
Okay. So that's the premise here is you add this to your site at Dell, then you'd be able to have, we're creating the records of what's happening and what you're able to see. So big point of reference here, this example here was a normal computer visit. What's usually most applicable to a company such as yours size-wise is we're going extremely deep when we talk about 1,000 micro actions for every visit. In mobile in particular, it's of note that what you're going to see in this 20 seconds here is someone's visiting your website from a mobile device and they use two fingers. They use their first thumb to kind of navigate, and a lot of times customers will use a second thumb to kind of scroll up and down. So what you're going to see here is the actual finger movement on your website from the mobile device, as well as other, orientation or flip. So this is just 20 seconds right here. Just wanted to preface it. So. So the takeaway there was just the depth of mobile and also my initial point of storing data in all these instances. If you want to know what's the average time people are engaging directly on mobile, finger movement, pausing, hesitation, all of this is accounted for directly from the same source. Any questions there, Nirmala, or is that pretty clear to you as well?
That's clear, and I'm kind of looking to get into the meat and potatoes of the overall context.
Oh, no problem. So the context of this is having an basically setting up an advanced analytics system on your website. You add it, and you have complete control into using the software to supplement your CRM or your current analytics. So if you want to look at any point of data or any customer session you have interest in, you can play exactly what happens and supplement it with relevant data. So for instance, if you're a CRM, you would be able to, if you're currently using live chat on your website, you would be able to supplement that live chat with the video technology directly. So I'm chatting with someone, I would be able to see what they're doing in addition to chatting with them, which is going to significantly reduce the time for servicing resolution because I don't need to confirm their actions. So on that note, yeah, that's what the view here is. I have a few links open, but based on relevance to you guys, this link here is proprietary technology of being able to view any customer-specific segments of your site. And once again, this would be used to supplement any kind of chat initiatives you're currently using or customer servicing, being able to watch what customers are doing in addition to hearing what's said on the phone or chatting with them directly. So, of course, the differentiator here from the rest of the market is this doesn't require any kind of download, the same way we're sharing screens right now because of GoToMeeting. This is all done as a recording, then spitting the data back out to your company directly, so it's no intrusion on the client's end, it's no permissions required, it's done with a seamless, lightweight script. So the last view I'm showing on this end, Nirmala, is this is an example of if you have a few customers directly, let's say, on your website, and you want to focus a bit deeper on that individual customer's history. We're creating a custom view for every visit on your website. So if I want to know everything that customer's done throughout their lifetime, all of their individual visits are linked from one view, so you can go back and forth to both see what they do as well as choose your own KPIs for the supplemented data. Does that all make sense, Nirmala?
Yes, to a certain extent.
To a certain extent. Do you have any questions at this point? I wasn't, is it clear when we talk about objective, what we'll usually do as a first step, particularly for larger organizations, is kind of show, capabilities overview to understand the potential pain points plug. Because our application is being used within analytics, within CRM, within customer usability testing and insight, a few different broad applications. So that's why, on my point, it's not as focused as you said. It's more based on what you can do to supplement what you're currently doing.
Yeah, and I don't know if you have a visual as to how that kind of fits into the overall communication funnel.
Would you mind? Yeah. Would you mind? Are you CRM focused particularly, Nirmala? Would you mind, I guess, pinpointing a scenario to demonstrate how that would fit?
That is what I don't know, because I'm still trying to wrap my head around the value add of your technology as well as how it works in terms of what are the core kind of business objectives I want to achieve. Oh, okay. No problem. So in that case, to bring up once again, a business type scenario is if you have a customer servicing, I'm going to pull up a customized link I have here.
So within your customer servicing department, let's say you had a client has a complaint, something that happened 5 visits ago. I tried to buy a Dell computer and I really didn't purchase what you said I did. I received a receipt later on. You would be able to go back and say, okay, this is the client we're dealing with. If you have their information, this can be directly listed as opposed to past customer. I can go back and see exactly what they did and confirm or deny whether or not that customer did what he said. So it's kind of dispute resolution to confirm their objective on your website, and also used to, if you notice that a customer had a dissatisfaction or pain point by watching a video, you would be able to, of course, pick that up on your end as a company and say, hey, this person came from mobile on a new type of browser. We noticed that the site's not showing up correctly, that he struggled for 10 seconds on my website. We need to address that issue on the technical end and fix that problem.
Okay. I do think I have a couple questions that I'm hoping you can follow up with. One is I would like something on the generic kind of product offering overview that's very specific. I see what you're saying here from a site experience. Is this limited to the site experience only? Is it beyond the site experience, or is this something that's really focused on Dell.com? From what I'm hearing so far, it seems to be very Dell.com centric. Tell me if I'm wrong. The other part of it is, from a privacy perspective, I'm kind of more interested in understanding how it works from a back-end perspective in terms of we're able to pull this kind of uniquely identifiable information from one specific customer. So I'd like to understand what are the protocols in place and how that's really set up.
Okay. So from a setup perspective, it would be you would have a script of code. You would add it to your website. It's a pretty normal parameter for a typical analytics or any kind of page tagging software. You know, if you have a Facebook like, you add a piece of code on your website. That would be.
Yeah, I kind of get that part of it. The part I'm more interested in is when we look at kind of reading that back, you know, it's, how can I say it? It's really specific targeting in an industry and a time where people are trying to be much more sensitive about that, if you know where I'm going.
So your concerns are the privacy concerns as a whole of being able to see and understand what is that the biggest pain point? Is you want me to address it?
Yeah, especially on such an individual level.
Okay, so I'll tell you, as a whole, because of the sake that we're not downloading anything on the customer's end, from a legal perspective, we're not allowed to store passwords and we're not allowed to store customer information. Or I'm sorry, we're not allowed to store payment information. Aside from that, because we're not intruding on the particular customer, we're storing what they're doing and recreating it on your end. Any other scenarios are going to be particular for company. You know, we have medical clients or insurance clients who say we're not allowed to look at this particular page on our site. But for the most part, 99% of what's seen on a website is completely legal to be able to relay what the customer's doing, as long as you don't cross barriers for specific data. From a common sense standpoint, the analogy we usually bring up is it's a capability. You know, if we give your company a video camera and they place it in a restroom, that's not okay, of course. But it's one of those things where we're showing the capability to use it in 99% of cases, and we have the ability to selectively record. So once again, if we spoke to you guys from a liability standpoint and you said, for instance, we're not allowed to see what's happening here for this reason, we selectively record that and we're not set up to store that information. Aside from that, when you talk about intrusion, I'll mention the footprint on your actual website is extremely minimal as well. It's smaller than traditional analytics technology. That's basically what the biggest sense of confusion is. In a lot of cases, is this going to slow down the site? What's this going to do to my customer session? It loads on average in approximately 0.2 seconds, and it doesn't have any noticeable effect on the website end or the client's end.
And you're talking about JavaScript on Dell.com, right?
Correct. That's what we're referring to.
Is there anything outside of JavaScript or no?
Yeah, we also have an option with PHP, I believe, on the server log end. So if you wanted to assign it, so if you're asking whether or not we can go on the wire, or we can install on a server or directly on the website with JavaScript. Those are the two options on our end. So it is all, to answer your earlier question, this is not a standalone application. It's all website specific here.
Okay, so the product is very, very much focused on Dell.com.
Correct. Or any website currently. Yeah, so Dell.com would be the use case, or any website that your company uses aside from there. So is that not within your realm, Nirmala? Are you outside of Dell.com, or what's your, it sounds like on your end that's not as much of a point of interest, or you're just trying to understand that this is something on your intranet or network level as well?
I'm trying to get clarity as to if it's limited to certain areas or not, so I can kind of take that back to the team.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
So yeah, the JavaScript wise, on, like you said, on any particular website page. So, and I can, as we said, I can lay out any of the top level objectives, very short documentation afterwards to clarify, you know, the usual objectives. That would be, if you don't mind, Nirmala, we have a few minutes. I was going to give a 5-minute overview on our other technology to see if it's applicable, and if once again you lack a sense of clarity, I can follow up with much clearer documentation. Great, that'd be awesome. Great. So aside from this analytics and customer recreation technology, our other asset is that the last 5.5 years, our company has been building its own unique search index, where a big differentiator is Google, Bing, most of the mainstream domains are storing approximately 1/5 of total websites because they put the liability on each website to be listed within their index. We created a more aggressive search engine where every time a website gets registered, we're storing the information on the page. What this allows us to do is we have approximately 180 million different websites in one big database, and we deliver that to companies on a competitive intelligence standpoint. So it's a customized search engine to understand the technologies and marketing strategies your competition's doing. I'm going to walk this one example through. I think that'll probably give more clarity on my end. So if you, for instance, as Dell, wanted to highlight 3 key competitors in your industry, we're denoting what their traffic rank is, and we're storing that information every 24 hours for your competitors. We're also storing basically anything that's viewable on a website you can get from public source code, you know, the same way a Google is, where you can search through keywords afterwards. We're storing that in its completion. So if your competitor had a 40% increase in traffic and you saw that they also had 10 million more Facebook likes in the same duration, you saw that they changed a sales headline, you saw that they added a new technology directly on their page, we're storing all this information in one condensed place to give automated awareness to basically stay ahead of the curve. Aside from focusing on individual competitors, what this deliverable is showing here is because we have this for every website on the internet, we also are able to do this on a global and industry-specific level. So if Dell said I wanted to take a close look at 3 of my competitors and monitor their increases, decreases, traffic, and changes, they might say I want to take a much broader look at 10,000 other competitors. We're going to define our competitors as every company on the internet using the word computer in their domain name, who let's say have been up for 3 years. If you define them and the total number was 50,000 different websites, we would monitor all of these websites and we would come back with you with any 5 KPIs based on what we're able to detect. And what's usually the scenario there is any changes in technologies used, such as if you added a Google Analytics directly on your website, that's noticeable on your public source code. So if 5% of your total competition added that over the last month, we would be able to let your company know directly without having to do a deeper dig. The other scenario there is, you know, page load speed is an important indicator for most sites to know how they benchmark and compare to their competition. So we could get that average for your competition and update that on a regular basis. Any questions on that end, Nirmala?
No.
Okay. Is that not within your focus or realm? Are you guys using a few different things currently for competitive intelligence aside from there, or?
Yes, we are.
You are. Okay. So yeah, once again, I can follow up more clearly, but the biggest takeaway is the breadth we're going. We have this on approximately 180 million websites encompassing the internet, and just a lot of capabilities to slice and dice this for your company's KPIs. So that concludes on our end, as we said, a generalized introduction. Do you have any requests aside from documentation that kind of lays this out a bit clearer, Nirmala, on your end? Anything else you'd like received?
I think that's it, as well as kind of just understanding the privacy component as to what you do on the back end to get that customer data.
Okay. So a general overview of added value as well as a particular focus on the privacy end. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. Any other questions you have, Nirmala, before?
No, I think these were the key questions I had.
Okay. All right. Well, I really appreciate your time, Nirmala. I enjoyed talking to you, and I hope we can clarify all that through documentation. And of course, if you want a follow-up call, we wouldn't need to go screen to screen. But if you have any additional questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us directly.
Great. Thank you very, very much.
Okay, Nirmala. Thanks a lot, and have a good day.
Take care. You too. Bye.
Bye.